So I got my frame rails bolted in there. I was going to cut them and slide them inside the old frame rails, but then I realized that that would wind up making the motor mounts far too high. So I actually ended up bolting them underneath, which worked out really well. And I've just used some old, I stole every bracket and fitting and nut and bolt I could think of off the Freightliner. So I used some brackets to tie them together, and they're bolted together underneath using these, there's some structure underneath there that Bluebird had on there. I bolted it all to that as well. And then there's some more bracketry that goes on underneath here, ties the two sides together, and the motor mount, front motor mount, which is over here, sits there. And then there's some other brackets that hold the radiator on and whatnot. And I'm going to tie it again to the front, or the front of the original frame is all going to get tied together. And in the back there, I just bolted it to the suspension, the 4-bag air suspension. Actually, that worked out really well. And I've had the motor in and sitting here, and I've had all the mounts in, and it all fits pretty good. Got the back mounts in. I had to bring them out 1.25 inches on each side, because the frame, the Bluebird frame, is actually 1 inch wider than the old Freightliner frame. And the other thing, I wanted to drop the motor, so I built these brackets here and dropped the motor about 6 inches. And that worked out quite well because I used 3/8 plate to do that. And that put these motor mounts exactly the correct distance apart. When I used this, I used 1 inch plate and then a piece of the old Freightliner frame rail, which is 1/4 inch. So that got me exactly where I want to be, within like a 16th or a 32nd of an inch if I've measured it right. And I've also done all the extended all the airlines. I used all the old airline off the Freightliner. Went back to the last fitting for the most part on the old copper fittings from the Bluebird, and I extended them all up to the front here, because once the motor's in, it's going to be quite tough getting back there underneath the floor. I didn't want to cut any more floor up. I was thinking about putting a hatch there, but instead I've just removed everything from that back cross member. The leveling valve and the quick release for the front brakes will go on just on the back side of that motor mount instead of the front where it was before. And yeah, just tidying all that up. I got 4 new airbags to put on the front, because why not? Because it's easy while it's apart. Might as well do that. Got the driver's side floor up. There's all this garbage underneath here. I'm going to move some of it. There's some bus bars that were buried under the floor here. I'm going to pull them out and I'm going to move them over to the battery box. And that's the hydraulic valves for the leveling system. There's a hydraulic jack in each corner, and I'm going to extend all those lines, and I'm going to put them somewhere up on the dash here, because the dash is going to be custom anyway. I'm not sure where I'm going to put them, but I don't like having to lean down, and you can just barely reach them from your seat, so it's irritating. And it's also an intrusion through the floor. I don't like that either, because I want to seal the floor up as best I can this time, because there was so many air gaps and ways for air and noise to get in and heat to escape on this thing. What else? Yeah, that's where I am right now.